Imagine your body as a magnificent, intricate temple, exquisitely designed yet persistently resisting repair, even with the most advanced human ministrations. You pour in remedies, apply therapies, seek every expert, but a subtle, unseen malfunction persists, a quiet tremor deep within the foundation, sabotaging every effort. This persistent struggle, this silent despair of a body that doesn't quite heal, isn't a random curse, nor is it a medical mystery beyond divine comprehension. It is, as Paramahansa Yogananda revealed, often a profound signal of a deeper disconnection, a yearning from the very core of your being, the soul, for its true source of strength. Yogananda, the great master, taught us that the human form is but a condensed light of the spirit, and when that connection is frayed, when the soul is starved of its divine sustenance, the physical temple inevitably reflects that scarcity. The pervasive modern belief that physical healing is solely a mechanistic process, independent of spiritual vitality, is the very illusion, the common enemy, that keeps countless souls tethered to suffering, chasing fleeting remedies while ignoring the wellspring of eternal health. The relentless pursuit of external solutions, from groundbreaking pharmaceuticals to esoteric diets, often leaves a gaping void, an unaddressed ache within the deepest chambers of the heart. You've witnessed it in your own life or in the lives of those you cherish. The tireless efforts, the financial strain, the emotional exhaustion, all yielding only partial relief, temporary reprieves, or sometimes no discernible progress at all. This isn't because the treatments are inherently flawed, but because they are attempting to mend a vessel whose true power source remains unplugged, whose spiritual battery is critically low. The soul, in its infinite wisdom, often orchestrates these physical challenges not as a punishment, but as a relentless, visceral plea for attention, a primal scream for reconnection to its divine blueprint of perfect health. It's a call to look beyond the visible ailment, to diagnose the invisible hunger of the spirit, the fundamental lack of divine strength that permeates the very cellular structure. This deeper healing, the one that transcends mere symptom management and ignites true regeneration, begins not with another external intervention, but with an internal revolution. It demands a radical shift in perspective, moving from the desperate plea for a cure to the humble yet potent act of inviting the divine presence to infuse every atom of your being. This is the essence of deep prayer, as taught by Yogananda. Not a passive petition, but an active, conscious alignment, a merging of your individual will with the cosmic will, drawing down the limitless power of God into your mind, emotions, and ultimately, your physical cells. It is the awakening of the soul's innate capacity to heal, to harmonize, to restore the body to its intended state of vibrant divine health, regardless of the karmic patterns that may have shaped its current condition. The problem isn't your body's inability to heal, it's your soul's starved connection to its infinite source. Your body heals faster when your soul receives strength through deep prayer, because prayer isn't just words. It's the very conduit for the divine life force. Think of it like this. Your physical body, a marvel of biological engineering, is attempting to self-repair, but its internal energy grid is compromised, blocked by the accumulated debris of stress, karmic imprints, and spiritual amnesia. Every traditional medical intervention is like trying to fix a faulty wire or replace a burnt-out bulb in a house that has had its main power supply severed. The light might flicker, a temporary glow, but true illumination, lasting power, remains elusive. Paramahansa Yogananda taught that the body is simply the outermost manifestation of the soul, a delicate instrument played by the divine conductor within. When this conductor is in disharmony, when the soul is out of tune with the infinite, the instrument suffers. Deep prayer, then, becomes the act of not just plugging back into the cosmic generator, but actively clearing the internal pathways, allowing the pure, unadulterated divine energy to flood every circuit, every cell, every fiber of your being. This isn't a spiritual bypass. It is the ultimate, most profound form of spiritual surgery, targeting the very root of disease. This spiritual starvation, often manifests as a constant sense of unease, a gnawing emptiness, or an inexplicable weariness, weakens the very immune system of the soul. It leaves the physical body vulnerable, unable to draw upon its inherent regenerative capabilities, which are in truth an extension of the divine's own creative power. Yogananda emphasized that God is not a distant entity, but the omnipresent, omnipotent, and omniscient consciousness that sustains all life. When we align our consciousness with this infinite source through deep prayer, we are not asking for a favor from an external deity. We are consciously activating the divine healing potential already residing within us, a potential that has been obscured by the layers of ego, fear, and karmic patterns. This is why mere intellectual understanding or mental affirmation, while helpful, often falls short. It is the feeling of divine union, the experience of the soul receiving strength, that triggers profound physical shifts. The illusion, the common enemy, that tricks us into believing our physical suffering is entirely separate from our spiritual state, is a masterful deception of Maya, the cosmic illusion. It convinces us that our ailments are solely the domain of biology, chemistry, and mechanics, trapping us in a cycle of dependency on external fixes. But your soul knows otherwise. It whispers, it nudges, it sometimes screams through physical pain, urging you to remember your divine heritage, your inherent wholeness, your unbreakable connection to the source of all life and health. It is not about if you will heal, but how deeply you will allow the divine to heal you by empowering your soul. This profound recalibration, this infusion of spiritual strength, isn't a speculative theory. It's a verifiable spiritual science, practiced by yogis and saints for millennia. So if you have ever found yourself feeling the deep, unspoken burden of a body that resists healing, despite all efforts, or yearned for a deeper connection as the true remedy, then I compel you, share a single word, or a brief description of a profound moment of inner peace or healing you've experienced through prayer in the comments below. Let your testament be a beacon for others searching for this truth. But what if the very act you consider a last resort is, in truth, the primary conduit for the divine life force? A force so potent it rewrites the very blueprint of your physical suffering? You felt that subtle tremor, didn't you? That instinctual recognition in your core that the body's persistent struggle is more than just flesh and bone, more than mere biology. The initial shock, that sudden unsettling realization that your dedicated pursuit of physical remedies only grazed the surface, now gives way to a restless understanding. The invisible architecture of your being, specifically your soul, holds the profound blueprints for your physical healing. We often enter this battlefield of illness believing the fight is against a visible enemy, a virus, a malfunctioning organ, an errant cell. But Paramahansa Yogananda, with the wisdom of the ages, unveils a truth both unsettling and liberating. The most stubborn resistances to healing are frequently rooted in the deep-seated karmic patterns and unconscious resistances held within the soul's memory, etched into its very fabric across lifetimes. Think back, not just to this lifetime, but allow your intuition to reach further. Imagine a moment, perhaps in a distant past or even a forgotten corner of this present life, where a core lesson was either embraced or rejected. A moment where a decision, a vow, or a trauma created a ripple, an energetic imprint. This isn't about guilt or punishment, it's about causality, the sacred, undeniable law of karma. Your current physical vessel, the very body that struggles to heal, carries the indelible marks of these past energetic transactions. It's the silent echo of unresolved lessons, unreleased attachments, or unfulfilled duties that now manifest as a tangible burden, a physical blockage that resists even the most potent external interventions. The unspoken burden of a body that resists healing, despite all efforts, is often a deep-seated resistance within the soul itself, a subtle refusal to learn the profound lessons woven into its current experience. What your soul suspected, but your ego denied, is that the journey to optimal health is inextricably linked to the journey of spiritual liberation. The chronic ailment, the recurring weakness, the inexplicable fatigue. These are not random acts of a cruel universe. They are, in the profound spiritual science of Yogananda, echoes of energetic imbalances, of karmic debts seeking resolution, or perhaps protective mechanisms the soul has unconsciously erected to shield itself from deeper, unaddressed wounds. This is the inimigo comum in its most insidious form, the illusion of separation from the divine source, which fosters an ego-driven identification with physical limitation. It convinces you that your suffering is personal, isolated, and purely biological, rather than a universal pattern of cause and effect, an intricate dance between the soul's evolution and its physical manifestation. For instance, consider the soul that, across lifetimes, harbored intense self-criticism or an inability to receive love. Such a pattern, deep-seated in the subconscious, might manifest in this life as chronic pain, digestive issues, or autoimmune conditions. A body literally attacking itself or refusing nourishment, mirroring the soul's internal struggle, or perhaps a karmic pattern of overgiving, of constantly expending vital energy without replenishment, leading to inexplicable chronic fatigue or depletion. These aren't curses. They are opportunities for profound release. They are the soul's way of bringing to the surface what needs to be seen, acknowledged, and finally dissolved. Through conscious spiritual action, the body in this light becomes a sacred messenger, a mirror reflecting the deeper truths of your soul's journey. The common misconception is that karma is a rigid judgment, an inescapable sentence. Yogananda clarified that karma is simply the law of cause and effect, a cosmic educational system. And like any system, it can be understood, navigated, and even transcended. The persistent illness is not merely a physical symptom, it is a spiritual curriculum, designed by your higher self to bring about a deeper awakening, a more profound remembrance of your divine identity. It compels you to seek beyond the superficial, to question the very foundations of your perceived reality. It is the soul's urgent plea, masked as physical discomfort, to finally address the dor occulta abordada, the silent despair of a body that doesn't heal, and the soul's yearning for deeper connection as the true remedy. This silent despair, often ignored or medicated away, is the first whisper of your soul's awakening, signaling that the conventional maps for healing are incomplete. The real challenge, then, isn't finding a new pill or therapy. It is the daunting, yet ultimately liberating task of looking inward, beyond the physical symptoms, to identify and understand the energetic imprints, the subtle resistances, and the unlearned lessons that perpetuate your current state. This isn't a path for the faint of heart, for it demands a ruthless honesty with oneself, an excavation of the subconscious patterns that have governed your physical reality. You are being called to become an archaeologist of your own soul, carefully unearthing the artifacts of past choices, past emotions, past understandings that, though invisible, exert a powerful influence on your present health. This foundational understanding sets the stage for true transformation. The deepest healing demands facing the invisible chains that bind your soul to its current state. Are you prepared to confront the hidden ledger of your own consciousness, to delve into the karmic roots of your physical suffering? The first real fight is against your own mechanisms of defense. You hear the question echoing in the silent chambers of your heart. Are you truly prepared to confront the hidden ledger of your own consciousness? This is where the gentle path of spiritual seeking abruptly transforms into a rigorous, inner war against the inimigo comum, the ego's identification with I, physical limitation and karmic patterns. The spiritual journey, often romanticized as a peaceful ascent, is in truth a funnel that tightens, a crucible that burns away illusion, where each test is more demanding, and the emotional cost for inaction becomes unbearable. This is the spiral of tension where escape becomes impossible, and surrender, not as defeat, but as a strategic act of ultimate power, emerges as the only viable path. The external battle, the futility of force. You've likely experienced the exhaustion of fighting on the wrong battlefield, the relentless cycle of doctor visits, endless tests, conflicting diagnoses and treatments that offer fleeting hope before settling back into the familiar cadence of suffering. This external battle, while necessary for initial understanding, often traps you in a reactive stance. You are constantly responding to symptoms, to medical reports, to the opinions of others, rather than seeking the root cause. Friends offer well-meaning, but superficial advice. Try this diet. Have you seen that specialist? Each suggestion, though born of care, can feel like another stone added to the burden of your already struggling body and soul. The financial strain, the time consumed, the emotional toll of constantly seeking external validation for your pain, all these are part of the external war, fought in the world of Maya, where true victory often remains elusive. You find yourself battling the symptoms, not the source, engaged in a fight that drains your vital spiritual reserves, leaving you depleted and questioning your own sanity. The persistent ailment becomes a fortress, seemingly impenetrable by conventional means, driving you deeper into the dor oculta abordada of silent despair, the internal battle, the ego's iron grip. As the external solutions falter, the battle inevitably shifts inward, into the treacherous landscape of your own mind. This is where the ego, the common enemy, unleashes its most potent weaponry: doubt, fear, and self-identification with the illness itself. Why me becomes a mantra of victimization. I am sick replaces I have a sickness, subtly binding your identity to your affliction. You begin to question your spiritual path, your faith, your very worthiness of healing. The ego thrives on control, on the illusion of self-sufficiency, and it fiercely resists the idea that a power greater than itself might be the true healer. It whispers insidious doubts. You haven't prayed enough. Your karma is too heavy. You're destined to suffer. This internal noise, this constant rumination on your condition, creates an energetic field of resistance, a psychological barrier that actively repels the very healing energies you seek. This is the essence of the inimigo comum, not a malevolent force outside, but the entrenched patterns of self-limitation and attachment within. The mind, caught in this loop of anxiety and fear, becomes a chaotic storm, drowning out the gentle whispers of the soul that point towards the divine solution. The paradox of surrender, the narrowing funnel, the spiral tightens. You've exhausted the external fights, and the internal war has left you weary, yet still no closer to profound healing. This is the critical juncture, the sacred paradox where the path of liberation reveals itself. Paramahansa Yogananda taught that true strength lies not in forceful struggle against what is, but in a conscious, intelligent surrender to a higher power. This is not a surrender of effort, but a surrender of egoic control over the outcome. It's a recognition that your personal will, while powerful, is finite, while the divine will is infinite and inherently benevolent. The challenge here is immense: to relinquish the perceived safety of control, to step into the unknown with unwavering faith. It's the moment when you consciously choose to lay down the weapons of egoic resistance, the endless analyses, the frantic searching, the self-pity, and instead raise your hands in humble yet profound supplication. This act of spiritual surrender is the hardest part for the ego, as it perceives it as weakness, but for the soul, it is the ultimate act of empowerment, the opening of the floodgates to divine grace. This choice determines everything. This path demands more than mere belief. It demands a radical reevaluation of your own perceived power. You are confronted with the spiritual dilemma: cling to the illusion of control and perpetuate the fight, or surrender to the infinite and allow the divine within to lead the way. But what if this re-evaluation reveals that your most potent healing agent lies not in what you do, but in what you allow the divine energy to flow unimpeded, transforming your suffering not through struggle but through grace? The question hangs in the air, potent and resonant. What if your most potent healing agent lies not in what you do, but in what you allow? This is the very threshold of transformation, the climax where the ego's iron grip finally loosens, and the soul, starved for strength, begins its glorious renaissance. This moment isn't forced, it happens in you. A profound shift from struggling against to flowing with the omnipresent divine intelligence. It is the ceremony of death, the death of the sick self-identity, the limiting belief that defines you by your ailments, and the glorious rebirth of the soul, now infused with the cosmic healing vibration. This is the alchemy final, where the lead of chronic suffering, purified in the intense fire of conscious surrender, transmutes into the gold of expanded consciousness and vibrant health. Here, the sacred resonance prayer isn't a mere recitation of words. It becomes a living, breathing current of divine energy flowing through you, a potent spiritual decree that aligns your inner self with the cosmic healing vibration. It begins not with an intellectual formulation, but with a deep, heart-centered intention, a yearning so profound it transcends all doubt. You close your eyes, not to shut out the world, but to open the inner vision, to perceive the boundless light of God pulsating at the core of your being. This is the moment to invoke, with absolute sincerity, the Divine Mother, the Christ consciousness, the all-pervading AUM, or whatever name resonates with your deepest devotion, inviting that supreme presence to permeate every cell, every atom of your physical form. The ED process is one of conscious surrender, not of passive waiting. You actively release the tension held in your muscles, the anxieties gripping your mind, the fears lodged in your heart. You visualize, feel, and affirm that the divine light, the ultimate healer, is pouring into you, dissolving every blockage, purifying every karmic imprint, revitalizing every organ. Yogananda taught that concentrated devotion can draw down the very essence of God into the physical cells, literally reorganizing the molecular structure of the body. This is not wishful thinking, it is spiritual science. You are not begging for health, you are consciously reconnecting to the infinite source of health that is your divine birthright, a source that the inimigo comum, the illusion of separation, has obscured. As you sustain this deep prayer, this state of sacred resonance, a profound shift occurs. The incessant mental chatter that once fueled the dor occulta abordada of silent despair begins to quiet. The ego, accustomed to its role as the dominant narrator of your suffering, recedes, its pronouncements replaced by an overwhelming sense of peace, a radiant inner stillness. You move beyond the realm of mere thought into the realm of pure feeling, pure being. The sensation of the physical body, once a source of pain and limitation, begins to transform. It may feel lighter, warmer, infused with a subtle, tingling energy, as if countless tiny sparks of divine light are igniting within every cell. This is the soul receiving strength, vibrating at a higher frequency, transmitting that vitality to its physical instrument. This is the peak of emotion, a moment of profound communion where your individual consciousness merges with the cosmic healing vibration. The boundaries between self and spirit dissolve. You realize, not intellectually but experientially, that you are not merely a body with a soul, but a soul experiencing a body, and that soul is an eternal, indestructible fragment of the divine. The physical symptoms which once felt so overwhelming are now viewed from a higher vantage point as temporary energetic configurations destined to transmute in the presence of pure divine light. The burden of the dor occulta abordada, the deep despair of a body that refused to heal, is lifted, not by fighting it, but by utterly transforming its underlying energetic signature through this sacred resonance. In this state of profound connection, the body's natural healing mechanisms are supercharged. The immune system, the nervous system, the endocrine system, all align, guided by the intelligent design of the divine. It's not just repair, it's regeneration. The cellular memory of sickness begins to fade, replaced by the vibrant blueprint of perfect health. This is the transformation. Signs your physical vessel is aligning with divine health. You become a living testament to the soul's restorative power, not through magic, but through the rigorous spiritual discipline of deep heart-centered prayer, guided by Yogananda's teachings. This is the ultimate healing, the return to your pristine divine nature. But as this inner sanctuary manifests, a new challenge emerges. How do you sustain this profound connection in the face of the world's insistent clamor, ensuring this divine healing isn't just a fleeting grace, but a permanent state of being, a continuous flow of soul strength? For those who have felt this profound shift, this surrender to the divine current, I ask you, in a single word or a brief phrase, describe the most radical inner peace or physical lightness you have ever experienced when surrendering to a power greater than yourself. Share your truth below. Let your words pierce the veil of doubt for others. The insistent clamor of the world attempts to pull you back, doesn't it? To make you question the profound connection you've just forged, the inner sanctuary you've discovered. Yet you now understand that sustaining this divine healing isn't about retreating from life, but about embodying a new normal, a living testament to the soul's inherent strength. The phase of battling the inimigo comum, the illusion of separation, and the ego's identification with limitation, has passed. You are no longer merely seeking a cure, you are living the cure, breathing the truth of your divine wholeness into every moment. The tone shifts now from confrontation to the serene wisdom of an illuminated witness. Your body, once a source of chronic despair and a reflection of the dor occulta abordada, is now a vibrant instrument, recalibrated to a higher frequency. The persistent aches may not vanish overnight, but their nature changes. They are no longer signals of defeat, but gentle reminders to deepen your breath, to recenter your awareness, to draw once more from the wellspring of cosmic energy. The anxiety that once pervaded your nervous system, driving a cycle of physical tension, has been largely replaced by an underlying calm, a steady hum of peace that permeates your being. This isn't forced tranquility. It's the natural resonance of a soul receiving its divine strength. You perceive the world with new eyes. The chaos, the noise, the relentless demands, they no longer penetrate the core of your being with the same ferocity. You observe them as a serene witness, understanding that true peace is an inner state, not dependent on external conditions. The small pains of daily life, a minor headache or a fleeting discomfort, are no longer amplified into major events. Instead, you experience them with a detached awareness, recognizing them as transient experiences in the vast ocean of your eternal consciousness. This fundamental shift in perception is the essence of living from the awakened soul, a tangible manifestation of Paramahansa Yogananda's teachings on equanimity. Remember the life ancient, the burden from Topico 1, the feeling of being blocked or carrying an invisible weight? That heavy cloak of karmic patterns and deep-seated resistances has begun to dissolve. It's not that karma ceases to exist, but your relationship to it transforms. Instead of being a victim of circumstance, you become a conscious participant, learning the lessons with grace and accelerating their dissolution through unwavering faith and deep prayer. The energy once consumed by fighting illness is now liberated, channeled into creativity, compassion, and a deeper sense of purpose. Your body, infused with the soul's strength, begins to respond with greater vitality, improved digestion, more restful sleep, and a palpable sense of inner lightness. The profound connection you established through the sacred resonance prayer during Topico 3 now becomes your baseline. It's not an extraordinary event, but an everyday reality. You don't need to force it. You simply are it. The divine energy, once consciously invoked, now flows spontaneously, a ceaseless current of healing light circulating through your system. This is the transformation that Yogananda promised, not just a temporary reprieve from suffering, but a profound, enduring realignment of your entire being with the cosmic flow of health and vitality. Your physical vessel becomes a sanctuary, a sacred instrument attuned to the infinite rhythm of the divine. You now understand that health is not merely the absence of disease, but the vibrant, radiant presence of divine harmony, consciously cultivated and maintained. It is the natural state of the soul, and when the soul is empowered through deep prayer, the body inevitably reflects that power. This is your new normal, a life lived from a place of profound inner peace, where physical well-being is a natural outflow of spiritual strength. You are no longer defined by your ailments, but by the boundless eternal wellspring of health that resides within your awakened soul. This is the truth unveiled by Paramahansa Yogananda, a truth that now courses through your veins, a silent, yet undeniable, testament to the healing power of the divine. But what if I told you that this profound liberation, this vibrant new normal of soul-infused health, was not solely for you? What if your personal awakening, your hard-won peace, and your recalibrated physical temple are merely the preliminary notes in a much grander cosmic symphony? The inimigo comum, the illusion of separation, does not confine itself to individual suffering. It casts its shadows across the entire human collective, perpetuating a dor occulta abordada of global despair and spiritual amnesia. Your journey, profoundly personal as it has been, has simultaneously prepared you for a purpose that transcends the boundaries of your own skin, of your own personal healing. Paramahansa Yogananda, echoing the timeless wisdom of the Bhagavad Gita and the Upanishads, taught that individual liberation is but a stepping stone towards universal consciousness. Your healed body, imbued with the radiant strength of your soul through deep prayer, becomes more than just a testament. It transforms into a beacon. Every breath you take in conscious communion, every cell that vibrates with divine energy, radiates a subtle, yet potent field of healing into the collective consciousness. You are no longer merely a recipient of grace. You become a silent, living conduit, a tangible proof to a world desperate for genuine spiritual solutions beyond superficial fixes. Imagine the ripple effect. A single stone dropped into a vast lake creates ever-widening circles. Your profound inner transformation, your alignment with the cosmic healing vibration, is that stone. Without uttering a single word, without explicitly teaching, your very presence, your newfound radiance, begins to subtly influence the energetic field around you. Others, even unconsciously, sense this profound shift. They witness a life lived with equanimity amidst chaos, a body that defies conventional limitations, a spirit that radiates unwavering hope. This isn't about arrogance or display. It's about the unavoidable energetic reality of an awakened soul. Your personal healing has a transpersonal echo. The great masters, including Yogananda, understood that the ultimate purpose of self-realization is not merely personal bliss, but the capacity to serve as a channel for divine love and wisdom in the world. You are not just healed, you are a healer, not through overt action alone, but through the sheer purity of your being. This journey, then, is truly infinite. It extends beyond the confines of your individual life, merging with the grand tapestry of evolving consciousness. The initial dor occulta abordada you experienced was a catalyst, a sacred wound that opened you to a deeper truth, not just for your own relief, but for the silent awakening of countless others. If your healed body and radiant soul become a living testament to the divine's omnipresence, a tangible proof of Yogananda's teachings in a world still steeped in the illusion of suffering, what then is your ultimate unspoken mission in this grand cosmic play? You have heard the truth. You have felt the shift. You are no longer a passive seeker, plagued by the Dor oculta abordada of a resistant body or a disconnected soul. You are now a conscious channel, a living testament to the transformative power of deep prayer and soul strength, directly embodying the profound wisdom of Paramahansa Yogananda. You are an embodiment of divine healing. Your mission, should you choose to accept it, is to deepen this sacred connection, to continuously align your will with the cosmic will, not just for your enduring well-being, but as a silent contribution to the awakening of humanity. The world yearns for genuine examples of spiritual fortitude, of bodies that heal faster because their souls are anchored in the divine. Your continued practice, your unwavering faith, and your radiant presence are the most potent sermons you can offer. Do not allow the clamor of the world or the whispers of the inimigo comum to obscure this newfound reality. The path of the awakened soul is one of continuous communion, relentless introspection, and unwavering devotion. If this message has resonated with the deepest chambers of your heart, if you recognize the truth within these words, then it is time to solidify your commitment. Embrace this identity. Fulfill this mission. Subscribe to this channel now. Engage with our community. Comment on your insights and share this message with those who are still searching. This is not just a video. It is a call to awaken, a map to sovereignty. Your next step on this infinite journey is clear. Join us. The ultimate revelation awaits those who dare to walk the path of the awakened.